I watch a lot of social media, and these days I feel like everybody is talking about how cool and exciting investing is. But if you're just getting started investing, it's a lot. Like, there's so much information out there. Where do you even begin? And what are the pros and the cons that you should be thinking about? Because this is your hard-earned money. And so in this video, I'm gonna break it down step by step. My background before working in Silicon Valley, I was on Wall Street working at JP Morgan. And so in this video, my goal is to make sure that you feel confident and informed about the exact next steps that you're gonna take on this. Hey guys, Jessica here. Before jumping into it, a really quick call out that we're Uprise. We put together personalized Wall Street level financial plans completely free. And this is a lot of what we do, which is, help people thinking about getting started investing. We take a look at people's entire financial situations and say, should you be investing in the first place? Are there other areas of your finances to optimize? Or if it does make sense to start investing, then what is the right way to get started? So to get your free plan, definitely check us out. I've linked to us in the description below. And other than that, please give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and let us know, if you got value out of this video. It really, really helps small channels like ours. Okay, getting back to it, investing. I'm gonna break this video down into 3 parts. So the first part, we're gonna talk about just some things that you should be thinking about before you get started investing. The second part is rapid fire definitions. So as you go down the path of investing, you're gonna hear a lot of different terminology. And what I would like to help you avoid is like hearing about a brand new term as you're clicking buy on a stock. Like, hopefully these terms will already sound familiar to you, like as you get started. And by the way, just a side note, this is something that bothers me so much about the financial services industry in general, because they can't seem to say things straight. They seem to have to want to make things super complicated and use terminology that most people don't understand and just feels so out of reach for normal people. It's not cool. Anyway, the third piece of this video will be just practical next steps that you can take as you get started investing. Okay, let's jump into it. So the first part I want to talk about is some things that you should be thinking about before you get started investing. And I'll actually start off with what are the potential benefits of investing? Because it has a lot of benefits. The main one being that you could make money. So for example, if you had $1,000 and you invested it in the S&P 500 1 year ago, then today you would have $1,143. If you had $1,000 and you invested in the S&P 500 30 years ago, then today you would have over $10,000. And the thing I wanted to call out is that it's not linear growth. So it's not like a straight line like this, right? It's exponential growth, meaning that it starts off slowly, but then it picks up speed and gets faster and faster over time. And the reason behind that is because of compounding. Because every year you get returns, and then next year you get returns on top of your returns, and then returns on top of your returns on top of your returns. That's why everybody says time in the market matters, because the longer you keep your money in the market without pulling it out, then the more opportunity you have for the magic of compounding to work. That said, as you probably know, investing comes with risk. In general, the market historically has gone up more than it has gone down, and so that's why people recommend investing, especially over the long term. But in the short term, and also depending on what you invest in, there is risk in terms of losing some money or even all of your money. And so I think part of this exercise before you start investing too is to just be honest with yourself in terms of how much risk you're willing to stomach and what you might, how you might feel if the market were to go down versus if the market were to go up. And the other thing I wanted to say about this too is to kind of think about why you're investing in the first place, right? I think everybody generally has this idea, I want my money to go up, but why? Why do you want that thing to go up? Is it just because you like seeing a number go up, or is it because, hey, you maybe want to buy a house in the future, you want to buy a car, you want to go to grad school, you want to achieve financial independence, whatever it is. And I think knowing why you're investing and maybe even rough timelines for when you might want to achieve those things, that would be really, really helpful to think about before you start investing, because depending on what you want to buy, say you want to buy a car next year versus you want to buy a house in 20 years, the type of investments that you would make depending on the time frame and the size of these things would be very different. By the way, if you're working towards something really short term, like say buying a car in 6 months or a year, then maybe in that scenario, you might not even want to invest at all because the risk of losing your money is too high and not being able to achieve that goal. Basically, different investments have different risk and return profiles, meaning like an NFT has a different risk and return than, say, an ETF. And what you want to do is to like look at, okay, this is when I want to spend my money for XYZ reasons. Then working backwards from there, you want to match up the type of investment with when you'll actually think you'll need the money. Okay, so that's basically just a high-level framework for how you should be thinking about investing overall. And we're going to jump into rapid terms that you should know. The first category is types of investment accounts that you could get. Brokerage account. These are normal investment accounts that you would open up with like a Robinhood or something like that. They are taxable, meaning that if you do a lot of buying and selling out of these accounts, then at the end of the year, you should expect to receive a document to file with the IRS to pay taxes. 401k. This is an investment account that is offered specifically by your employer, and not all employers offer them, though most do. And basically what it does is it's meant for retirement, meaning that you put money in here and you shouldn't touch it until you're 59 and a half. And if you do that, if you're able to do that, if you put money in there now and not touch it for a really long period of time, then the tax advantages and the investment benefits here are just huge, huge. They work out to be hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, by the time that you retire. IRA. This stands for Individual Retirement Account, and they're very similar to 401ks, except that they're not through an employer. These are accounts that you can set up yourself. Okay, then the category of things that you could invest in. Mutual funds. So mutual funds are pools of investments. And when you make an investment into a mutual fund, then you own a small percentage of all of the investments in that pool. Normally, these mutual funds are managed by a mutual fund manager, like somebody, and they charge a fee for that service. Target date mutual funds. So target date mutual funds are mutual funds that are specifically meant for retirement. And so a lot of people, for example, in their 401ks or IRAs, invest in target date mutual funds. Target date funds, normally, like there's a date in the name, so it'll be like 2060 target date fund. That means this mutual fund is meant for people who are planning on retiring around 2060, i.e. people in their 20s today. Index funds. So these are like automated versions of normal mutual funds. Basically, instead of a manager like picking and choosing the investments that go into that pool, all of the investments in that pool just automatically tracks an index. So for example, the S&P 500 index, which is basically just a list of like 500 large companies in the US. So if you invest in an index fund, you'll basically own a small piece of all the companies that are on that list. ETFs. ETF stands for Exchange Traded Fund, which is very, very similar to an index fund, but with some improvements. So you'll generally find that the same thing, so like an S&P 500 index fund versus an S&P 500 ETF, the ETF will have generally lower fees, be more tax efficient, and more convenient to buy and sell. Okay, so then investing best practices. Diversification. The basic idea here is that you want to avoid putting all of your eggs in the same basket. And there's been a lot of research around this that shows that by spreading your money across many different investments, you are able to lower your overall risk while boosting returns. Expense ratios. So this is what the investment industry calls fees. And basically when you're evaluating a mutual fund or an ETF, definitely check out that expense ratio. Make sure it's low, because even things that feel small, like 0.5% or 1%, can have a huge drag on your returns over a long period of time. They charge these fees every single year. And so just definitely make sure these days, like the S&P 500 ETF from Vanguard charges 0.03%. And so just keep an eye out for that and make sure that you're not paying high fees that are eating into your returns. Whew. Okay, next steps. So there are a bunch of services out there these days called robo-advisors, and I'm a big, big fan because robo-advisors use technology to do a lot of the things that we just were talking about. So for example, it will match up like the types of investments with when you plan to take the cash out, right? And automatically do that. They will also take into account low expense ratios and making sure your portfolio is diversified. And so I definitely think this is a really great place to look into as a first step to get started investing. So we did a bunch of reviews on robo-advisors. You can definitely check those out up here. By the way, one robo-advisor that you could check out is called Stash. So they are a robo-advisor that's specifically targeted for beginners. And so I think it's a really good idea because they help you set up a habit for investing and how to think about investing. They'll set up automatic transfers from your checking account, for example, into your investment account, and then also put into place all those investment best practices as well. We haven't done a video or we haven't done a review on Stash yet, but if you'd like to see one, definitely let us know in the comments. I'd be happy to do one. And that's it. If you have any other questions about investing or whatever it is, we'd be happy to help. Let us know in the comments below. Also, if you'd like more support with personal finance, definitely check out Uprise. I've linked to us in the description below. We put together personalized Wall Street level financial plans completely and 100% for free. So if you have any questions about your specific situation, about employer benefits, budgeting, whatever it is, we'd be happy to help. And on average, we've put $1.5 million into customers' net worth. Other than that, if you'd like to see more videos like this one, please give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and click the bell for notifications. Thanks.